Hi there. I am Deacon Linda Bobbit, and I am a spiritual director here in the Rocky Mountain Synod. I also chair the board for the Messiah Mountain Retreat Center and the Congregational Ministries Committee. As a spiritual director, I was really drawn to the word time for our devotion today. When we think about time, if we're part of the church, we tend to think about it in two ways. As chronos, the time that our clock keeps moving forward through the seconds, and kairos, which is more like the right time, or a time when God interacts in human affairs to bring things together, to bring things about. The Gospels share, or well, really the Bible shares different ways of talking about time also. In Romans chapter 13, we hear Paul say, "Besides this, you know the time, that the hour has come for you to wake from sleep. Salvation is nearer to us than we first believe." He doesn't mean 10 minutes from now necessarily. He's saying the time is ripe. God is doing a new thing, and we need to pay attention to it. Likewise, in Luke chapter 17, we also hear about the time being right. Jesus here was asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of God was coming. And he answered them, "The kingdom of God isn't coming with things that can be observed, nor will they say, 'Here it is,' or 'There it is.' For in fact, the kingdom of God is among you." That's the thing about time. Most of us spend our time actually not in time. We're too busy in imagining the future or planning, or we're too busy remembering the past. And when our heads are caught up in the future or the past, it's very hard to notice the present moment. And while God exists in the future and the past, we can't experience God there, because for us, the future and the past are all in our imaginations. We can only experience time right here, right now, in this present moment. And since that's the only thing that's real, that's the only place we can actually experience God. And so it's really important for us to learn how to be in time, right here in the moment. That's what Jesus was talking about. The kingdom of God is here, not some distant imagined future. And so for us in Advent, it's really interesting. It's a time of waiting for something that isn't. And yet I see it as a time of practicing, a time to learn how to actually exist in time, in present moment, right now. Because it's only when we learn how to be present in the moment that we finally make space for ourselves to be with God in reality, with God here, God with us. That's what Jesus really was, Emmanuel with us, and that can only happen right now. So I invite you to take a moment or two with me, wherever you are right now. Feel your feet on the ground. Take a few deep breaths. And the reason we do that with the breath is because you're always breathing, but when you think about your breath, it brings your mind into the present time. So do that with me for a few moments. Take a deep breath in and hold it for a moment. And then relax and breathe out. Do that a couple times. You can close your eyes so you're not distracted by all the things. And with each breath, feeling your lungs fill, and then releasing the air. You are present in this moment. If you keep breathing and noticing your breath, slow down a little, and you're able to let go of some of the busy stuff in your brain. It doesn't vanish, it doesn't go away, but maybe it can drift to the background, so that your focus and your attention can be in this time right now. Take some more breaths in and release. And over and over. I don't know about you, but when I practice this paying attention to the present moment, I tend to set a timer so that I don't have to worry about time. My watch will do it for me. And then I can simply be present in that moment with God, opening myself to God's presence. Whether I can feel it or not, doesn't matter, because God is there with me. And what I've found in these past couple of years, if I take 10 minutes in the morning, carve out that time, which it's not as hard to do as you think. It makes this little space in my soul, and God comes and dwells with me. And even though I can't really tell it in that moment, that space kind of germinates and grows and fills my soul and my spirit with peace in a way I hadn't experienced before when I was racing from thing to thing. We only really can experience God when we take the time and notice the time we're actually in. So I invite you during this Advent to make a practice of breathing deeply and paying attention to where you are right now, right here in the moment, even for only the time of a stoplight while you're driving. If that's a time for you to reflect, here I am in my car, I feel the seat, I feel the steering wheel, I see around me, I'm here in this present moment. That's all God needs, that little sliver of here and now to breathe into you and make God's presence known. Making these little spaces of time will transform you, because that's God's promise, to be with us and to work through us and transform us so that we can work with God and transform the world. I hope you take up this invitation this Advent. Amen.